also I realized that there's a capacity for not just like survival or something like this, but I think a lot of people make choices. They make choices out of like fear. And what does that mean? So what is fear, and then what is actual like truth, or like I guess not ground zero, but what is it called? Rock bottom type shit, right? So you have rock bottom, right? Where like, let's say it really takes being not just homeless, but like losing a lot of things, and to the point that you and it's not through trade. It's not like, oh, you traded your stuff for the wrong deal. You made the wrong deal. That doesn't count. So it's a point where you had nothing to trade anymore, and you were begging basically, and then, or like you were suffering, and then maybe that's where you really learn everything. That's where you learn. That's when you make the biggest decisions, through life and stuff like this. So basically, there's or at least that's some of the examples that I was shown was like like people who like maybe got in trouble, had like had to kind of switch their lives around, and then but even though after, or like even before, like, or after they kind of came back to the world, the same things were calling them back, and they had to say no. They had to say no to these things, even though it was a way to eat and survive. They had to say no, and they stayed homeless for a while. So that kind of stuff is very raw. It's like it shows you that that when you finally reach, like, not just rock bottom, but like to find equilibrium in yourself, to actually say that your truth, like your words are true or honest, is it takes suffering. It takes suffering to some degree, that ultimately once you experience it, that will be your language. That will be like where that'll be your the lens that you view from. All right. And why do I say this? I say this, like, for example, because it's not about just judging and saying that my supposed folks are stupid, right? Like, I mean, of course, like, first of all folks are stupid. Okay. Don't do anything just because your mom told you. In fact, there's much more harm that mommy, daddy who tell you stuff and you do it just because they're mommy, daddy. That is much more harm than good. They do more harm than good. The sooner that you step away from that shit, the better. And in a way, I like to think that orphans, people who are orphans, they are the closest to God. So instead of looking for a father, mother kind of figure, wondering, oh, is this them? Just know that you are like an angel person. You're a human alien spirit person. God is your dad. The earth is your mom. That's all you need, really. And I realized that, because otherwise, imagine a worse scenario where you are an orphan, but your parents, they tell you they're your biological parents, but they're not. So you have these deceivers, these slave drivers that are like, they're lying to you. Why? I don't know. Maybe they stole you. Maybe they abducted you. That's fucked up, right? So that's a way worse scenario than just being an orphan. That's like you're being deceived your whole life. Even if they provided for you, they lied. So now your whole lens is fucked up. You're like, whatever they taught you to believe in, you believe in. So like, or at least you believe it enough that you're like, oh, my parents told me that. So in a sense, even if, let's say, they are your biological parents, and let's say they immigrated, so there's like some way to be like, oh, they are suffering, they are refugees, right? Okay, but where do they come from? And who the fuck are they, right? Let's look at one thing. If a person, like, gets kicked out of the house at 16, 17, 18, but I mean, if they're just, if they're actually not like, if they have places to go, I mean, if they're just like, let's say, sleeping around, going from like a dude to dude, let's say it's a girl, guy, whatever, but they're just going from person to person. So their values and their standards are like, like they're willing to give their body up for housing, for security. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just, in fact, they should take pride in that they were willing to shine, to give themselves to shine, to go find this way, right? But there is a level of entitlement with that, right? Because it's like, eventually it's like, like, I mean, let's say you sold yourself for a certain price, but then you realize, oh, I could get more. So then you're like, oh, I'm not going to sell myself for less, unless, obviously, like, if you have an addiction, then maybe you will. But the point is, after doing that, let's say you do that for so many years, and then you meet, like, some guy, you marry the guy. Were you ever really homeless? Were you ever really, did you ever really hit rock bottom? Is the idea of hunger and suffering really, like, baseline? Or is it some spoiled, entitled level thing? Like, are you a chooser or are you a beggar? Because at that point, maybe you're a chooser. Maybe, and like, the thing about suffering and being homeless in a way that makes people strong is that you learn what is baseline suffering. You learn how much you really need to survive. How much water do you really need to drink? How much food do you really need to eat? In order to make it, but you're like, wow, I can eat once every 3 days, I'll be fine. But before you hit that point, you know, you're gonna be like, I need to eat 3 times a day. You're gonna be freaking out. Oh my God, I only ate once today. Ah! You're fine though, you know. I mean, you're fine. In fact, if you're like overweight a little bit, you could probably not eat for like a month and you'll be fine. You can just drink water. I mean, I'm not telling you to do that, but that's the reality of what life is and what physics is. What you know, like it's probably not good for your body, but it'll put you into ketogenesis, and then you'll be burning ketones other than you know, like fats. You'll go through the fats, but then ketones too. Very, very, very interesting what the body does, how it functions to survive, and what addiction is, and what everything is. You know, all of it is fucking amazing, cool as fuck. So, but on that note, it's interesting to you know, to talk to people, to relate to people, and to trust them that, like, you know, that if they never learn to ride a bike, if they never learn to, like, you know, survive on, like, not just bare minimum, like, because I realize that coming from different places, immigrants, for example, they cherish stuff differently than people who are spoiled, right? They learn to, like, they wash what they have more often. It's not just paranoia, but that's all they got. They clean what they got, they reuse what they got, upcycle what they got, right? So these are good things. These are good traits for a person to have, right? But in a sense, there could be paranoia in that, right? Like, what is the use of cleaning a floor that's already clean? That's called like a schism. That's like a paranoia, or that's like a psychosis. You know, that's psychosis. I met a lady in a psych ward. She wanted to clean the floor. They Thorazined her because she wanted to go to bed. She thought the floor was dirty. It wasn't dirty. It was fine. They bleached it that morning. So it's like, you know, how many mothers fit that role? How many, like, literally, how many mothers are like totally normal, zero med? They don't take any meds, but like, one day the husband says, you know, kids are gone to college. You're fucking annoying. Yo, I got some crazy bitch in this here. Fucking, she keeps cleaning shit. She won't leave me alone. Yoink, she's going off to the psych ward, and then she meets me in there. You know, luckily she met me in there. Luckily somebody like me is in there teaching her how to draw flowers of life. You understand? Somebody took her flower away from her life, you know, and they fucking maybe severed her roots up. You know? Grammy. The real Grammy, Claudia, you know, not the other Grammy. In my life, at least. Yep. I mean, there's something to it. Something too about the human. What is human? You know, like when I tell my son's mother, like, hey, you know, we should visit our grandmas, respective grandmas, and play music for them. Like, so I'll record it. You know, I'll record it because I was gonna bring crystal bowls there, but you know, I don't have them with me. So it's like, but I'll record it. You know, like maybe Soul could play cello, she could play viola. She didn't want to do it. Not for her grandmother, who is doesn't have Alzheimer's. She's not cuckoo. She's like, she can speak. She can listen. She could go on dinner. She could go drink vodka with us. She's down to party. She's a very hip lady, okay? So, but my grandma, supposedly my relative person, Claudia, she has Alzheimer's. She cannot communicate very well at all, okay? But is she still, like, alive? Does she still have some attachment to her spirit body with her physical body? Yes. Does she deserve compassion? Yes. Both grandmas do, right? So, I mean, one grandma doesn't really have the capacity to do much except just kind of reflect with us that we all are human in a way that we never know how we're going to go. So every day should be lived to the most. We should love each other to the most and not try to sugarcoat, whitewash, or lie, or separate people from people and lie and live a fake reality. None of that shit, no. Because life is short. And when you think that, oh, they're old, it's their life's over, they're old, let's put them in an old folks home, or let's immigrate and sever their dacha, let's get rid of their summer house because our lives are more important than their lives. Like, but guess what? One day you'll be as old as them, and you'll be like, holy shit, this is how they felt. They were this old, and we told them to get rid of their house, and we told them to go to a new land, and we basically ended their lives. Wow, you'll feel like shit. And then your kids will tell you, you know what? I'm not gonna visit you when you're in the old folks home because you're a fucking dumb bitch. You know? And that's because, look, I can't give love that isn't real. I'm not a poser. There's people that are posers. They're like, hi, how are you? Oh, like, everything's good. That's not me. I don't do that shit. I don't like put on makeup. If I put on makeup, it's because I want to be a clown in some kind of movie, right? You want to make a movie about clowns? I'm in. I'm fucking in. Yo, call me. Let's go. You want to make some porn about clowns? I'm in. Let's do it. I'll film it if you need it. You know? Let's go. I got places, I got cameras, I got people. Let's go. Whatever you want to do, let's go. But I'm not gonna be a poser in real life and like pretend some shit with people just to what? Just to make them cheer up. Like, think about it. What is marriage? Why do people get married? 99% of the time, it's because their mommy or their daddy or some grown person, some elder, that's what they did, right? Just because grandpa, let's say, went and abducted grandma from some village and then forced her into a marriage, and then you followed the same suit because your military op told you to do it, why the fuck should your kids do that, right? Why? To make you happy? To tell you that you did the right thing? Fuck you and your stupid ways, right? And fuck grandpa for his rapey ways, right? Right on. And then, what up? In that sense, don't do shit just to make people happy. Don't do shit like, let's say, if I conform and I was like, hey, baby mama, I love you, la 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 la, even though I'm lying, let's get married. Maybe your Grammy will give us an inheritance, some money for this. Fuck that. That's not worth that shit. I'm not gonna enslave myself for some dumb bitch's millions, I'd rather find my own millions, But at the same time, I realized that neither baby mama nor her mama are my friends at all. They're literally my enemies. But the great Grammy, she is cool. She's a cool person, okay? So maybe I'll go do a portrait of her, like in a few days. Maybe I'll visit her, And maybe she'll wanna like invest. Maybe she knows, because like that's the thing about old people. They're not expendable. Okay, they're not expendable. They're not like our veterans. Just because they're old, they're not expendable. It's like, oh, they're old. They just don't know whatever. They don't matter. Let's get new cannon fodder. No. Okay. The old people matter for two reasons. One, they have stories to tell. Okay, they have lessons to teach. Okay. The other thing is they either have money or their friends have money, and a lot of them are very attached to that money. Why? Because again, they don't know who to trust. They don't have anybody around them they can trust. Because the things that people have shown them is that they will deceive them, they will rob them, and they will overdose or die with the money. So that's why the old people can't trust their own siblings sometimes with this money, right? But if you're a sinner, or if you think you're a sinner, or if you don't believe that you're gonna go to heaven or something, hit me up. We'll help make a movie for you, okay? I want to talk to you about your loves of your life. Did you have loves? Do you know anything about love? Are you a lover? Are you a fighter? Did you fight for love? Because look, the sooner that we get the story out, the sooner that we can discuss this kind of stuff, is the sooner that I guess we can not just help you ascend, but look, wouldn't you love the title as a movie producer? Wouldn't that be an amazing title to have as a person? Like movie producer, right? Like who said that an old person can't be a movie producer? Who are the movie producers of the world? Most of them are probably old people or slush fund people or like trust fund people. Also, look, hey, if you're, let's say, just hypothetically, totally other story, totally other scenario, analogy has anal in it, by the way. So, no butt plugs related. But hey, look. If your daddy abused you, molested you, right? But he happens to be a veteran. Let's say, hypothetically, right? And he left you a bunch of money, or even some money, right? To the point that maybe you want to tell the public, hey, my dad needs to go to prison because he molested me, right? But you can't do it because he left you like, I don't know, maybe $1 million or something like this, or like $100,000, and you're using it every now and then. You get stuck. You get, you're like, oh fuck, I don't know how to pay rent. You use daddy's money, and you're like, I guess this month I'll shut up, and I'm not going to talk about his abuse, But then you go, you're living this kind of a deception thing, right? One way to help yourself to ascend, give away that money, put it in a fund for movies, right? Give it away, donate it to us, so we can maybe make a movie about that story, right? We can incorporate that story in a horror movie. We can help you ascend. We can help you find love. We can help you find security. Hey, we can help you go to court and get this person put in prison, right? We can do so much. And that money won't bother you anymore. That trust fund money, it won't bother you anymore. You won't think, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Oh, my mom lied to me. My mom told me he's an abuser. The mom will go to prison too. It's fine. It's fine. They might, look, prison's not a bad place for all people. Some people benefit from that place. Some people find it like home, like, especially if they're gay, like people who are in a closet, if they go to prison, they'll be like, wow, this is great. They'll love it there. So a lot of people probably, like, if they ever avoided prison, prosecution, and then escaped somewhere, and then also fake loved some weird wife that they don't love because they're gay, that would suck. Imagine being a prisoner in your own house, and then wondering, fuck, I could have been, with your own kind, who you liked. Like a whole building full of your own kind of people that you liked. Wouldn't that be a trip? Wouldn't that be a trip? Oh my god. And like, I think about it, it's all about ego and humility. You didn't want to look like a prisoner. You were afraid of looking like a prisoner person. Fucking all the great people were prisoners. And I'm not talking about Hitler. I'm talking about everybody else, whoever went to prison. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, right? All the great people, they all got locked up for standing up for what's right. So the fact that somebody escaped prosecution, you're probably the criminal. You're a legit criminal who escaped prosecution because you're guilty as fuck, right? I mean, like, otherwise you should have pride in what you did and you should write a book about it. Right? And then like, whether you escape prosecution or not, you should write a book about it. And hey, if you did go to prison at that time when you were supposed to go, that would have been a good time to write that book. Oh, look who missed out at being a writer. Speaking of writing, the same word to write in Russian, to pisat, It means to write, it means to paint. Hey, if I do papisat, papisu a little bit. Right? Chuchut papisu with this. Right? I'm gonna go right over here. I'm gonna go right. Hey, that's what graffiti people do. They write, they paint. You know what I mean? But so do like plein air artists. They go and they paint in the woods. They write. But what about the story? Aren't they gonna write a story? Or are they gonna paint trees? Because look. There's a good analogy about trees. More anal stuff. More butt plug related things. Look, people will hate on people, discriminate, say their skin color is wrong or their sex is wrong for my particular liking, right? But then they go and they paint a bunch of trees together in a bunch, right? And they're like, oh, look at this nice forest. But they're not segregated. They're not saying that tree's stupid. This tree's better. That tree's too long. This tree's too straight. This tree's too curvy, right? So where's the lesson in that? Where's the lesson in that? How about tell me how you really feel? Tell yourself how you really feel. Stop lying to yourself. Forget your wife. She's stupid anyway, right? She's not helping you. Because she's like deceiving your kids, she's deceiving you. You tried to do everything for her. You gave like your whole life away for her, and she's ungrateful. So I mean, shit, she belongs in the dumpster. Honestly, that's what I would say. So I mean, that's why like for me, marriage is retarded. Okay, if somebody wants to do marriage stuff, yo, we'll throw you a festival. Okay, we're gonna build some stages. We're gonna do a whole new type of thing with marriage stuff. It's not gonna have anything to do with involving the government, involving the state. No. But you will remember the fuck out of that event, okay? Everybody will remember it, okay? Kids will be fucking born. I mean, like literally, like you'll have what do you call it? Not like orgy piles, but like you know how like people get like, where did you meet your spouse or something? It's like, oh, or like you're like, where did you meet your lover? I met them at this person's wedding, right? Like that's the kind of shit. 'Cause it's like festivals, right? Don't people meet at festivals? Don't people fall in love? Like in the not just strangest of places, but at places that are like positive, good places, right? So, don't you want to be a conduit? Don't you want to be like a conduit for people? Like not just a door, but don't you want to open doors for people? Or do you just want to be a dead end? Are you actually a terminator of people? Are you here to terminate people? Are you a chooser of who is right, who is wrong? For example, like let's say you worked as a midwife in some hospital. Did you like maybe like do something wrong to the kids that were maybe like, you know, like, because some lady got arrested recently that, you know, that, and how many people like this were there? Like, not just swapping the babies, not just switching whose baby's who's raising whose baby, not just that, but literally, like, maybe terminating some of those beings. That's messed up. That would be so messed up. That'd be so wrong. Okay? Like, and let's say your government told you to do this. Let's say you were a military op. They hired you, some Mossad agent. They said, go and do this. You're gonna be a secret op in this hospital. You're gonna do this for to make our race stronger, right? Like, huh? That's fucking stupid. You know? And then, so what are you gonna do with your life after that? What are you gonna do? You're gonna what? Move to some other country and pretend to be somebody else? I mean, I mean, aliens will find you, the real aliens, and they will drink your freaking spirit blood, and then you'll come back as worse than a door and a floor. You know, trust me. Not just, it doesn't just rhyme with horror. That's not what I'm trying to say. But because whores are awesome. There's nothing wrong with whores. You know what I'm saying? Like, actually, it's a very logical thing. Like, for example, I just saw a comedian talking about this. That, you know, when you go to a restaurant, you're not like, I want a chef that only cooked 5 meals. Like, you want a chef that's like cooked 50,000 meals, right? Same as the kind of people that you're having sex with, right? The people, the hooking up with people. You want a very experienced person, right? You don't want some fucking noob. You know, what the fuck is that about? You know, so relax. Stop trying to be weird.